Hello, Bookworma. My name is Silke, and today I want to share with you a review for a book that was kind of a surprise to me, but turned out to be a book that actually blew me away. I'm talking about The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I know this book has been quite quite a hype 3 years ago on BookTube. Everybody was reading it. It won prizes. It was actually not Taylor Jenkins' read her first book, but it was the book that made her book book famous, to call it that way. I had it on my shelf for quite some time. It was a book that, well, there was a lot of hype about it. It won prizes. I was kind of intrigued, but not really totally, yeah, sure it was going to be my thing. Then I decided to pick it up this month, and oh god, I was really blown away by it. In The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, we actually start following Monique, and Monique is a journalist, a starting journalist who works for this type of magazine in the lines of Vogue or Cosmopolitan. And one day, Evelyn Hugo, this starlet, type of starlet that works in the okay. One day, the okay. One day, Evelyn Hugo contacts the magazine that she wants to give an exclusive interview to Monique. Evelyn Hugo is a starlet from the 50s, 60s, old Hollywood fame, and she has never done any interviews in her entire life. She was never very open about her private life. The only thing that the public knows about her is that she has seven husbands. And Monique goes to Evelyn, and it's kind of she gives her life story to Monique, and she tells her lives. That's all I'm going to say about it because it's a very, very interesting story, and it was actually more than I expected. What I absolutely loved about the story is the setting. So it's kind of a historical fiction, but also some contemporary. The parts that are, yeah, Evelyn's life are definitely historical fiction. You start in the early 50s, even before Evelyn hits Hollywood. It starts with her being a very young child living in New York City and trying to escape the nightmare that is her life and what she is willing to sacrifice to make it to Hollywood. It starts there, and you follow her through all of her years, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, even the 80s. And what I loved about this book is the setting it creates. It takes you to Hollywood during that golden age. And Evelyn is like a mixture. And sometimes she made me think of Marilyn Monroe, but also Marlene Dietrich, all those famous Hollywood stars of the glitter and glamour age. And the way the story is described, all the parties, the movies, the iconic movies Evelyn and her colleagues are playing in, it's all this, yeah, it just feels like those golden Hollywood days. I don't know how to call it, but you know that when you think about Hollywood, the sparkle, the champagne, the parties, the laughing, it's like you're there. It's like you're walking through Hollywood with Evelyn. It's like you're in the party with Evelyn. It's that well created, and it's part of how the story is brought to life is what makes this story so incredible attractive. That and the characters. Of course, the main character is Evelyn Hugo. This whole story is set up around this Hollywood sex bomb about this very powerful woman, Evelyn Hugo, who has for the 50s is just this remarkable, powerful woman, and I love that. She is a difficult character. I'm not gonna say I've seen people talk about that. She's not a very likable character. I don't agree. I absolutely loved Evelyn. She's strong. She knows what she wants, and she is willing to take what she wants. And she might go a little far to get what she wants, but she has this clear view in her head about power, about using her body to get where she needs to be, about, yeah, just playing a game, because the whole Hollywood scene, when you dive into this book, it's a game. It's a power play. It's like playing poker and not putting your cards all out. And Evelyn is very good at it, but at the same time, while she's telling the story, you see she is this sometimes bitch. She even calls herself a bitch at a certain point in the book, but she's also a very caring person. She will do anything to protect the people she loves, the people she cares about, and you very clearly see that in the book. She has made her own little family. She has a few people she truly loves, truly trusts, who she doesn't have to play a role with, where she can just be Evelyn, and that's very nice to see. But those people she will protect through anything. And by protecting these people, she makes mistakes. She makes the wrong choices to protect them. She makes the wrong decisions. She does morally grey things, but she does them from the bottom of her heart. And that was something I really respect about Evelyn. And also at the end of her life, she tells Monique, that she doesn't regret the things. She knows she did things wrong, but she doesn't regret them, because she did them with a reason, and she can still watch herself in the mirror without feeling guilty for it. I absolutely love that about Evelyn. Also, the book, what I really liked about the character Evelyn is that she felt so real. It felt at moments if I was reading a real biography about a real Hollywood starlet. And Evelyn had such wonderful lessons to give. Even to me as a reader, there were very interesting life lessons, and the way she used words or explained herself, they were really that I thought, yeah, yeah, you're this is spot on. On the other side, one of the main characters is Monique, so we're that's the contemporary part. So you have the chapters. The book is divided into chapters, and every part is a husband. So the timeline is told through the seven husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and it's intercepted with characters in present day about Monique, and that's more contemporary because Monique is reflecting on her own life, on the mistakes she made, and they are very similar to the mistakes Evelyn made, and Evelyn is educating Monique in how to deal with certain things, and she's reflecting on that. And that's more of a contemporary story. I liked Monique a little less, but I think that is because she's underdeveloped. The whole book is about Evelyn and how Monique views Evelyn, and how the world views Evelyn, and how her colleagues view Evelyn. She's really the main character, and Evelyn is almost a side character. And for me, maybe I it could have used some more depth to Monique, but on the other hand, I didn't really. For me, the story of Monique wasn't important. It could have just been left out, and I would still have been pretty happy with the story in itself. Um, there is kind of a twist in the book. Although I gave the book 5 stars, I need to say that the twist in the end wasn't necessary for me. I honestly have to say I heard people say, "Oh yeah, we saw that twist coming. It wasn't surprising." I didn't see it coming because how do I have to say it? Because I didn't care or I wasn't looking. I was so intrigued by the story of Evelyn that that twist really wasn't necessary for me. It didn't make the book better. It didn't make it worse. It was just unnecessary. So there is that's part. What I have to say about the this book reads like you're watching a movie, and actually the whole time I was reading, I was thinking this would make such a good series, or yeah, I think actually a series, one episode a husband, like the book is also built, one chapter a husband, one episode a husband, but it has all that glitter and glamour and that I want to see on a screen. I think this is a book that could really work on screen. I loved it. The writing is actually very, how do I need? It's not flowery. It's not very. It's very to the point. The whole book is written to the point, and it's ideal for this type of story. It's not very the prose isn't flowery. It's not very um, normally I would say it's not very difficult written. It are also very short chapters, and that makes you fly through the book because, oh, I can do just another chapter and not another chapter, and before you know, you're 200 pages further in the book, and the book is almost finished. I read it in 2 days. Absolutely loved it. Gave it 5 stars. Complete surprise because I was really not expecting to love this as much as I did. And it actually makes me curious about the other books that Taylor Jenkins Reid has written. Daisy Jones and the Six and Malibu Rising, and I don't own them. I only own her Interrupted Forever book. I think her first one had her debut novel. I haven't read it either, but I'm now really, really curious to pick it up because I absolutely loved Davy Jones. No, I loved the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I'm wondering, has anybody read other books by her? Are they just as good, or was this just her prized book, and I just had lucky that I read it? Absolutely, 5 stars. Would recommend to anybody. Actually, recommend it to my friends. I already borrowed it out to a friend. So that was my thoughts on it. Have you read it? Did you love it? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.